Hey everybody, hi, Grease here. I promised you a hammock video, at least a setup video. I'm going to attempt to do that right now. So I got my backpack all packed exactly the way I would if I was on trail. So when I come into camp and I want to look for a place to put the hammock up, I have some measurements that I have to look at. And basically what I have figured out is from 18 feet to 21 feet is the width of the tree that I need to hang the hammock in. 18 feet is perfect, 21 feet is max. Less than 18, I really don't want to do it. So the way I do it is I come up to the tree and I take 6 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's 18 feet, so that's how I figured that out. The first thing in my backpack is always the most important thing I carry. My food bag. The first thing that I hang when I'm putting this thing up, especially if it's raining, is my Dyneema tarp. And it's inside a snake skin. And so the way that I hang this, it has some hardware on it. I tried to reach up about 6 feet, maybe just a little bit more. Hopefully you can see this, you may not be able to. I'm still in? All right, so that's called a Dutch wear wasp, and I can adjust that when I need to. Unfortunately, I may have to do a little editing here, but that's the way it goes. I'm out here trying to do this alone. So again, I got my one end of my tarp is connected to the tree about 6 feet high. I connect the other end by pulling it tight with the wasp. And if you look real closely, it's probably 6'3" underneath it right now. So I can actually stand up in here once I get the tarp set up. So if it's raining, this is the first thing I do. I take the snake skin off and I put my tarp out. But if it's not raining, it's easier for me to hang the hammock without the tarp being out. So let's do it. It's not raining, so we're going to do it that way right now. So this is the hammock right here. And I have to have 2 straps to hang the hammock on. So let's put the first one up first. I'm going to come over here and take some close-up shots once I get the hammock hung and try to explain what's going on. So this is a buckle from Dutch wear to hang it, and basically what I do is I adjust it down to about that far from the end of the tarp. So that's ready to go. Can you see me? So that buckle's pretty close. So that's ready. The hammock has two color ropes on the end. I just let it fall out. The red end is my head end. This is where my head goes. The gray end is my foot end. It's been 3 weeks since I put this up, so I'm a little bit green. So I'm actually just going to come over here because you really can't see this from that far away. And as you can see, the wind is affecting the tarp. But let's see if you can do that without the wind. That's how that thing hooks onto the buckle right there. And as I adjust, I can pull this strap. And that's how it hooks to the tree. And that's called a Dutch ware wasp. That's how the tarp hooks. It happens the same way on both ends. The same way. I can see doing these videos is not very easy when you're trying to do it with and explain what's going on. So I need to put my camera back on the tripod and show you how I adjust. If you look right there, basically my head end is going to be lower than my foot end. So if I'm at 6 foot here, I need to be at 6'6" there. All right, everybody, I've had to do some editing here and figured I'd set this up a little bit better so that I could show you exactly how I use this thing. It's too shaded with not enough light if I have the winter cover on. So I unzip this right here. If you look at it, it's called the winter cover, and it holds heat in. It works very well. But going back on trail in warmer weather, I'm going to zip in a bug net instead, so that I can be a little cooler when it's hot. And if I get cold, I put a quilt over me. So the reason that I wanted to take that off now and show you, I want to show you how I organize the inside of the hammock. So there's a ridge line on the hammock. You can see it right here. On that ridge line, I hang my light, so it's right above my head when I need it. I hang an accessory pouch in it. I keep earbuds, so when I'm editing, I can just edit my video and keep my earbuds in there. I keep my battery pack right here with a small light if I need it. I hook my charging cord over to another accessory bag where I put my phone. That's my wife's phone. I'm just using it because I'm filming with mine. And I hook the cable to charge the phone up. And I leave that at night when I'm sleeping, so my phone is charged in the morning. Also, I take my socks off and I hang them here. I will admit one thing, they don't really dry well. Maybe with a bug net, they'll dry a little better. And if I'm wearing my puffy when I first get in, because I'm cold, or my raincoat or something, when I take this thing off, I have a basket that I can put it in, push this up, and that holds everything up out of the hammock. Because in the hammock, everything, when you sit in it, when you sit in the hammock, everything you put in the hammock slides to the middle. So nothing can really be in there but you, the pillow you can pick up and put by your head, and the quilt. So I'm going to get in the hammock right now. All right, everyone, as you can see, I'm laying in the hammock. You can see the light above my head. You can see the accessory pouch with a battery charger, the phone, my socks. Pretty much this is how I sleep right here. Let me see if I can reverse it. I'll try. So here I am laying in the hammock. I'm pretty comfortable. Works great. I'm happy with it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to zip in the bug net and spray it with permethrin so that when I get back on trail, I keep the bugs off me. All right, give me a minute. Everybody, I'm back. I got the bug net zipped in. So as you can see, the bug net goes over the whole tarp and keeps the mosquitoes and black flies and gnats off of me. All right, so next I'm going to put on the under tarp. All right, everyone, I got an under quilt, not an under tarp, an under quilt on the hammock. It connects with a color-coded buckle right here. The white is my head end. The black is my foot end. And then the quilt just wraps around the whole hammock. And I lay inside of that quilt. Now that keeps me warm in cold weather. When I go back to the trail, I have decided not to bring an underquilt. It could be a mistake, but I'm trying to save a little weight. So I always carry an inflatable pad in case I sleep in the shelter. So what I'm going to do is not use an underquilt and put the inflatable pad inside the hammock to keep me insulated somewhat. I'm hoping that the weather is going to be nice, so that will work. All right, now I'm going to put in the top quilt and I'll turn the camera back on. All right, this is my 50-degree top quilt. Almost doesn't sound adequate, but I'm hoping for good weather for the remainder of the trip. And I always have my puffy and a base layer to wear if I get cold. So that's my backup. Again, I am trying to save as much weight as I can. So I want to show you the quilt. It has a foot box that you slip your feet down into, and then just the quilt itself just goes over top of you inside the hammock. So I will put it inside now. Hey everybody, I'm back. I got the tarp deployed and staked out with the winter doors are closed on this end. Then again, this thing is put up just the way it is without the hammock if it's raining, because then I just get underneath it and I set the hammock up inside. And then I shut this door and that's where I spend the night. Right now, it's off the ground 18 inches, which is pretty high. So I would set this up that way if it wasn't going to be windy and rainy. If it's going to be windy and rainy, I'm actually going to pull it down tighter to the floor, so there's only 10 inches or so from the ground, so the wind doesn't get under it and blow it off. Because that's what happened to me on Over Mountain Shelter. Of course, I wasn't sheltered at all. I was out in the open. We had 50-mile-an-hour winds, or 40-mile-an-hour winds probably, with bigger gusts. It actually blew the tarp up. I could not keep a stake in the ground. So I was fortunate it didn't rain that night, because I would have got wet. So lesson learned, when rain is predicted, or wind, or depending on where I'm camping, if I'm up high in altitude, I really have to tuck this thing low to the ground. And I got 4 larger stakes, so we'll see how this thing works. So there it is. That's my tarp setup. You know, this was not very easy to do. I have to edit a bunch of pieces together. We'll see how this comes out. If you have any questions at all, put them in a comment.